Hello and welcome to another episode of Tabletop Gaming News. I know. I go incredibly out of sync between the voice and the video. That's a symptom of bad webcam is fail. I'm looking at buying a new one or buying something that will kind of compensate for that. But at the moment, it's just something I'm going to have to live with, unfortunately. I have decorated a little bit. I have a new poster up. As a first bit of news, since the last time that I saw you, GW have posted a teaser trailer. The actual release will be of the actual trailer will be on the 31st of March, but it's a trailer that is strongly, really strongly pointing to an Empire release for Warhammer Fantasy. It's like 99.9% certain. I'd stake all my monies on it. It's looking like it's going to be April the 7th that the release comes out, which is the same day as the new Citadel paints. Coincidence? I think not, especially not as we imagine that those yellow base coats are going to come out, and anyone who wanted to paint an Avaland army whose colours are yellow and black will be over the moon with this one. There are a few rumours out there about what is going to be coming out with the Empire Army. I'm going to link you to them. It's done by a guy called Harry, who's collated them together over on the Warseer forums. And what I'll do is I'll post a link in the description. You can go have a look at them for yourself. Also on the GW video blog, there's a couple of new posts up. Darren Latham, who's one of the designers and he used to be an heavy metal artist, talks very briefly about the new Citadel paint range. It's nothing that we don't know. However, the ogre that he paints at the end does show an example of the flexibility of the paint. Somewhat more interestingly, however, is there's a video by Alan Merritt. It's 5 minutes long and it discusses a bit more the complexities of the paints. However, it does kind of show by watching it that some of the issues that we might come into. So, for example, that the water down ratio is going to be different, and I'd like to just cover those in a bit more detail. The essentials of what Alan says is that the intention of these new range is to provide the minimum amount of mixing possible, which we've already mentioned, so I'm not going to dwell on that too long. However, he does speak a bit more about the glazes and how they're intended to provide a bit more of a vibrant feel to the models. They're meant to enrich colours, they're meant to bring back colours that may potentially be overly highlighted and really enrich them and make models pop more. The effects of the glazes, I've actually tried these out in store now since last time. I know, it's all the giving, and they don't make the model go shiny. If it's matte that you paint it on, they make them stay matte, so that's really not a worry. I know some people were worrying about that, but I've tried it out myself and it works just fine. I did find the video by Alan didn't really discuss the technical range of things, and whilst that's technically only liquid green stuff and the varnishes that we already know, the only addition that we're not sure about is the Lamian medium, and I'm really interested to see how that works, and that really wasn't touched on. So I think, obviously that's a bit of a letdown. I would have liked him to talk a bit more detail about that. But overall, it's a strong video that I suggest you watch. Also, the new Citadel House of Paint Citadel Miniatures book, which obviously comes out with pretty much every paint release and it gets re-released, this time comes with a 90-minute DVD, which I think is actually a really nice thing to put in there. So it might not be for everyone, but to be able to sit down and actually kind of watch a DVD that tells you their intentions behind the painting, I think can only be of benefit. Still in the realm of Warhammer 40,000, Forgeworld have again released some absolutely stunning models. They've basically released, they called the Tartarus pattern Terminators, and it's a new pattern of Terminator armor for us, but it was apparently in the mythos of the world released kind of like concurrently with the main mark of arm that we're used to seeing, and it is just gorgeous stuff. I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about it in detail. I'm going to bring some pictures up and narrate over them the points that I would really like to bring out about these, but the link will be in the description. Just to give you a summary, basically they're going to be coming out on an April the 1st open day in Forgeworld in limited amounts if you go to the open day at Forgeworld. Or they're going to be available for pre-order with a shipping out date of April the 10th. They're £36 for 5, but they are utterly gorgeous models. Really high quality stuff. Okie dokie, what we've got here is on the left we've got Mark IV power armor, which is known as Maximus, and on the right we've got the regular Terminator armor that we're all used to. And what I really wanted to point out here is that the Tartarus Terminator armor in the middle is a really nice incorporation of the two concepts. It's not as bulky as regular Terminator armor, and it's obviously a lot bigger built and more imposing than the power armor, but I think the way that it looks is so iconic and so neat that it's a really lovely piece. And not only is it a lot more sleek and sophisticated in style, but these parts are actually clearly designed and manufactured to a higher level. The Stormbolter looks a lot more cleanly manufactured, and as my housemate pointed out, it actually looks dangerous now. It looks like it could be really, really powerful. And as we'll see on one of the pictures later, we'll see that the details of the Power Fist look absolutely stunning. As far as what you get in this £36 pack, you obviously get your 5 Terminators, you get Stormbolters, you get Power Fists, you get a lovely Power Sword for the Sergeant, which is one of my favourite that I've seen in a long time, and you get enough optional extras to arm 4 of them with Chain Fists, which is a nicer design than the standard Chain Fist. It's some of the nicest I've ever seen. As far as heavy weapons go, you get a Heavy Flamer. I don't know about the compatibility issues with assault cannons provided in other kits. It might be worth trying it out, but I couldn't say. But to be honest, all that you get with this looks such high quality. It's truly lovely stuff. So here's just a view of the Terminator from the front, obviously with his Stormbolter raised, and you were getting that nice side shot of the Stormbolter that kind of really displays the ferociousness of that weapon. But what I want to draw attention to on this one, apart from the overall styling, is how nicely detailed that Power Fist is, and how much kind of better it looks than the standard plastic sculpt, how much more refined the design is. I think that is a truly lovely piece of sculpting by the guys at Forgeworld. I'm really not afraid to say this is one of my absolute favourite features. It sounds really weird to say that you like the back of the model, possibly the favourite part, but that power pack is so good. Obviously it's incorporating details of the older Mark IV style power pack with the cabling, in with the more robust style of a Terminator power pack, and rather than it looking bulky, it looks like it could provide actually some agility. It looks like the Terminator can move around a lot more, and I think that's really key in their design and what they're trying to show with these models. So what is it you guys think? Will you be wanting to get these, or can you let it wait? Can you wait a bit longer and maybe not pick them up right away? I know I said I need them in my life, and I do, and I'm definitely going to get them. But what do you guys think? For one, they're not compatible with Forgeworld shoulder pads. In other model news, Kabuki models, which you may or may not know, have only 11 left of their first kind of all resin model in the Knights of Legends series. They're totally not Night Haunter Dark Knight. Regardless if it's meant to be Night Haunter or not, or whether people use it for Night Haunter or not, it is again a really, really lovely sculpt and would do well in any Night Lord's army. I think I'd be using it as Conrad if I was to get it. The link will be in the description, but I am going to post some pictures up as well as part of this body of the video, just to highlight some features that I think is really nice about this model. They've also got a Pertuarbo kind of like sketch up. I say Pertuarbo, he's called the Steel Knight. That will be coming out on April 2012. Again, the concept looks really, really nice. It looks like it fits completely with the character design and character idea. And here he is in all his glory. I'm Conrad. Sorry, that was the wrong tale of Dark Knight, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm incredibly confused. Yes, it's the Dark Knight from the Knights of Legend Kabuki model range. I think this is a shoo-in for Conrad Kurza. I mean, a lot of their Knights of Legends, if not all of their Knights of Legends, are really, really great for the Primarch models, and this one is no exception. Those long lightning claws, those long kind of piercing claws, really add to the savage look to this model, but there's obviously some grace and some kind of like guile and swiftness there, which I think really suits Conrad Kurza's character. If you compare this with their earlier sculpt that looks like Korax, the two are really great juxtaposes to each other. And this is the Steel Knight, who I said obviously I think is Pertuarbo. I just think how austere his design is, how compared to the others he's relatively unostentatious and quite functional, and how kind of almost brutal some parts of the armour look, like the gauntlets and all that cabling. I think that really fits with the character design and the overall kind of idea of what Pertuarbo is and what Pertuarbo does. So I think that's really cool, really cool, like it. Max Mini have some lovely sculpts out. These aren't new, you might have already seen them, however I just wanted to highlight them as pieces that I've been looking at that I really like. They are going to be most used for Space Marine players, unfortunately. So if that's not your thing, I'm going to be looking at stuff that might be interesting to other armies in the next couple of shows. I'm going to try and dig some stuff up that will be interesting, but I'm going to highlight these ones because I do think they are really pretty and really nice pieces that can be used to add a lot of character to the army. Specifically these ones will be quite interested for Space Wolf players, I think. So here we go, we're starting off with the Feral Heads. I think these will be really great for the Space Wolves, to be honest. I can especially see them for, obviously the non-helmeted, especially some of the scouts that might be needing to look a bit more windswept. I think that's really great. Really fun, really nice sculpted heads. The fur cloaks here have all the fetishes you'd associate with the Space Wolves, so skulls and bits of stuff hanging off them, and they give that really rough and rugged look to an army that obviously is meant to be quite feral and quite nomadic, and I think it really adds a lot of character. And then for your more traditionally minded Space Marines perhaps, you've got these knights, they're called Steam Knight helmets. They're designed to go with the heroic scale miniatures, and whilst they look a little bit retro, some people might want to use these for something like Iron Warriors, or potentially for Honor Guard, so some more Baroque style helmets for some of their Honor Guard. I think these could be really nice, and again add quite a high degree of character to an army, and they're just generally nice pieces. Right, first up we have these pieces. They're called Soviet Grey Astronauts. I might be wrong, there might be tons of them around, but I've not seen any models of Soviet astronauts in the heroic miniature scale. I don't know about you, but I would totally use these for helmetless Grey Knights. I think these are really lovely sculpts, and if you're not using these for Grey Knights or unhelmeted Space Marines, you're doing something wrong. These are just so evocative and so characterful that I pretty much think you have to use these. I plan on getting a set of these for myself. They're from puppetswar.com. I will include the link, but I just wanted to show just how lovely these sculpts actually are for something like Grey Knights or Space Marines. And again, we're looking at something very Space Wolfy here. Obviously, we've got some wolf helmets. I particularly like the one on the lower right-hand side where it's partially open, exposing the face. I actually think these, and that one in particular, are really nice for something like your wolf priests. I don't think Space wolf priests have enough models officially provided by Games Workshop, and obviously we're left to kind of make our own, and I think these are a really good step in that direction, keeping with the theme, but just allowing us to use some really cool looking parts. That is the end of the show now. If you have any positive or negative comments or critique, please leave them in my comments, for that is what they're for, and I'll read everyone. Hopefully when I join you next time I'll have more news apart from the usual Games Workshop stuff, and I hope you've enjoyed it. But I shall see you on the next show. Goodbye. Also got excuse me.